I do consume human blood.
And welcome to I Need a Hobby, a podcast. I'm this week's host, Alex. And to my right, he always wanted to have the body of a mythical Greek god, a la Zeus or Hercules. But instead, it looks like he has the body of a mythical Greek beast, the Caledonian boar.
We went over this at the beginning.
Andrew.
I still don't know what that is.
It's a mythical beast.
It's a mythical beast?
A boar.
A boar.
Just
it's
like you.
ugly. It's boring.
No Zeus.
All right.
Look in a mirror.
All right. Okay. Enough.
And to my left, we told him we were going to do a podcast on mythical beasts, and the only ones he could name were the Centaur, the Minotaur, and Pat Benatar. Chris.
Thank you. It's an honor. Hey, guys.
Andrew, do you know who Pat Benatar is?
We went over that too, and I forget.
Look in the mirror.
Oh, he's a boar.
It's a woman.
Pat is a woman?
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Patricia.
All right. What's this podcast about? Anyone?
Tell me.
Raise your hand. No one. Okay. This is a podcast about challenges, hobbies, and activities. Every week, Chris, Andrew, and myself, Alex, we do a challenge, hobby, or activity, or we do a little research, and then we podcast about it. Yeah, we're busy guys. We grind all day during the 9 to 5. We're busy little boys. we grind during the 9 to 5, but during the 5 to 9, we kick back and we discuss hobbies.
Well,
It's our time to relax.
Now, I got to say, did that man at the beginning of the podcast really say he sucks people's blood? That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's true. Let's see what else he's got. Real quick.
There is a real live community that exists not only within the States, but also throughout the world.
But also with throughout the world.
So, yeah, before we get into the topic, we're doing mythical creatures this week. And before I found what I wanted to research, I was looking up vampires because I wanted to research something that could be real.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Vampires.
So vampires.
So I picked vampires, obviously.
Because vampires are like mostly people.
Yeah.
They just
That's
want to
true.
suck your blood.
And
But
yeah.
they also turn to bats.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
If you
know.
ignore the bad part.
Do you
I don't
think
know if all
that? Do you
vampires
think
do that.
maybe vampires were just like local creeps that wanted to suck blood,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Like this guy on
eventually it turned into
video.
something about bats?
Because maybe it was like, they were like, well, they're just creeps. And then someone started a rumor. Oh, they're actually also bats.
Do you think you know
So that we could take them out.
how there are like those furries? People
yeah.
dress up as
Oh,
furries.
God, yeah.
Do you think vampires were kind of like furries, and they're like, I'm actually a bat in my real life?
Ooh.
Like maybe that's how it
I
happened.
hang
They're already
upside down.
They're already sucking people's blood.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, what's the next step?
Is it that weird to identify as a bat, for God's sakes, at that point?
Mm.
Yeah, vampires are on the way out for sure. They were big in the Twilight days. You know,
That's true.
Twilight, New Moon.
That's pretty recent, though.
That was like 2008, right?
Yeah. I feel like werewolves are still growing in popularity.
Well, stay tuned.
Oh, no. All right.
The next big werewolf movie.
Before we get into what we're talking about in the podcast, I've been dying to tell you guys something.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We're finally all back
You're back.
together.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I'm
been a
back on the
yeah.
pod, guys.
Yeah,
forgot to
we've
mention
had a
that.
streak of...
Yeah. Never record a podcast without me again. All right.
I was going to say,
That
it's
sounds
kind of
funny.
weird how, I mean, we usually get some pretty good feedback, but we've got just amazing
Yeah.
feedback on all these episodes without one of the hosts. It's just like,
Okay. Oh.
no, it's just for all of us. It's when I leave, all of a sudden we get emails from, kind of like, how Logic sent in the what's
Sure.
on your mind.
Rapper
Like,
Logic.
Famous people are sending us stuff that says
Where's Andrew?
that they like it better when
Yeah.
it's just the
Yeah.
two of us.
So
are
we're going to be starting
guest
a
host.
Twitter poll, and whoever gets
Yeah.
the most votes, this is hashtag
This is
who's
survival.
out. Who's going to be leaving the podcast? We're going down to 2.
We should do that.
Yeah.
I'll vote for me.
I'll vote for myself, please.
Yeah, it's the classic. You can't vote for yourself, except in this example, you have to vote
I
for
make
yourself.
a bunch of fake accounts so that I can get
Yeah,
myself
I
out
just
of there.
make a fake account called I Hate Alex.
It's get Chris out 1, get Chris out 2.
All right, yeah, so I'm back.
Yeah.
I've been traveling,
Good trip?
and it was a good trip.
The Carolinas?
Where'd you go? Talk to the listeners about your moving plans.
All over the map. I went to North Carolina for a bit, and I went to Colorado for a bit.
Ooh.
And then now I'm back in Massachusetts.
Hmm.
But you're thinking, how do you get to North Carolina? By bus? By foot? By air? Right?
we did a whole episode
Just like
on
episode
Whatever.
27.
Yeah,
maybe? I
no,
don't know.
further ahead than that.
Air travel, where I said I don't like air travel. I believe
Yeah.
I gave it a nay, a hard nay.
But you did it again. You went back on a plane.
And now I know for a fact why.
Was this your first flight since we went to Disney for that?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
But I took 2 flights.
Hmm.
Two when I was going to North Carolina. First one was to Charlotte. Second one was from Charlotte to Raleigh. So on the first flight, I have my seat 15D, right? You're thinking D, aisle, baby, right? That's what you guys are thinking, right?
Yeah. By the way, aisle or window? I don't know if we talked about that in.
What do I prefer?
Yeah.
Well, I prefer aisle.
Aisle it's easy aisle for me.
I think aisle is by far the best, unless you're trying to sleep. If it's like a red eye,
That's
Yeah.
true.
then I can understand window. But I think aisle is widely considered the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, what a stroke of luck, Alex. You hate air travel and you're getting aisle. I might be emailing Andrew and Chris and saying, I got to change my rating pronto. This is great. So I go to sit down and there's this couple next to me, boy and a girl, man and a woman maybe. And the guy goes, hey, do you like the window? I'm thinking he's offering me the window because he thinks it's a better seat. What a nice guy. So I say, oh, you know what? I don't care at all. I'll tell you, this is fine. And then his partner, his girlfriend, wife, I don't know what she was. She peeks her head over and she goes, I love the aisle.
Oh no.
So now I'm in this sticky situation
bad
where I
situation.
just admitted to not caring. And she's saying she loves the aisle and she's offering a trade. So if I say no, then
I hate that,
I'm
dude.
lying.
You're like, I actually do care.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate they talked about it and they're just like, watch this.
because it was
you know?
instantaneous. But in reality, I actually didn't care. So I was like, that's fine. I'll take the window. That's great. I had just peed right beforehand. I wasn't going to get up during the flight.
It's only an hour flight maybe.
And it was like almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because
Really?
this was to
Well, it's 3
Charlotte.
to Florida, so.
Yes, that makes sense.
And you're sitting for a while before takeoff and after
Yeah,
takeoff.
so
So
all
it's going to
in
be at least 3
3 or
hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
But I was fine. I was whatever. Next flight. So I land in Charlotte. Now it's from Charlotte to Raleigh.
This is a double
I get my
story here.
seat. 26D. Oh, I see
Oh,
Andrew's eyes
yeah.
smirk up.
Hey.
D, you know what I'm saying.
Also,
Aisle, baby.
did you have any thoughts? 26. You went down there for a marathon.
That's true. That's
Good
true.
luck.
I wasn't stressing out at all. Yeah, maybe that was a good luck.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was far from lucky, my friend. So I walk down the aisle. I'm looking at the aisle thinking, I'm going to be sitting right next to this thing. This is going to be great. I take my seat. There's no one in my row. I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. I might put the seats up. I might lay down, have all 3 seats. Next thing I know, there's this wide set man coming up to me.
Ooh.
Big man, fat, tall of a lard.
Thank
let
you.
me tell you.
All right.
He goes, oh, I got the middle seat. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I get up, and I let him sit. Now it has to be noted, my carry-on bag, is already under the seat. Because I'm thinking to myself, I can't let something happen again where someone tricks me into switching seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock myself in. When you put your bag under your seat,
That's
no
yours.
one in their right mind is going to say, Can you
Can we
take
just
yourself
shift everything around
and your
yeah.
bag out? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm locked and loaded, baby. This is going to be a great flight. Got my headphones in, listening to a podcast.
Our
You know which
podcast.
one.
Were you actually?
I was listening to a podcast. I don't think it was ours.
Gotta listen to air travel.
And no one's coming yet. So I'm like, this is great. I might say, hey man, you
Move
might
over.
want to push over one. You'll get an upgrade from middle, the worst seat,
Yeah.
to aisle, second best seat.
No, to window.
I mean to window, second best seat.
Especially, I
And
think that situation with no middle is like the
it's
best.
perfect
No
because
matter
we're
where
both
you are.
getting upgrades. He's going from middle to window, which is an upgrade. I'm going from having a big fat tub of lard next to me to having no one next to me.
The dream.
Then what do I see?
Don't say it.
Boom, 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 boom. A big fat woman. No, she wasn't fat. Some woman's coming up.
Yeah.
She points to the window seat, 26F or something. That's my seat.
Wait, had you already told the guy to scooch?
No,
or-
no, no.
Okay.
I was just in my mind thinking,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good flight. Was that wrong? She points. That's my seat, window. So, don't worry. Unbuckle myself. I get up. I'm waiting for this guy to get up. This big man goes to the woman. Oh, do you want me to just scoot over? Now step back 1 second.
Yeah.
All right. You cannot. He's offering up like it's a favor.
Oh,
He's
hey.
upgrading his seat.
Take the middle seat.
He's in the middle. He's saying, "Oh, do you want me to scoot over?" Giving myself a better seat and you the worst seat.
That's a sly move.
That's
Yeah.
a scumbag move.
It is.
I think it's
terrible.
sly. That's fine.
So I'm standing up now, and I see that, and I'm thinking, what is this world I'm living in where people are just willy-nilly switching seats? I'm like steaming mad. My headphones are in, but there's still smoke coming out of my ears. And all of a sudden, the woman looks at me, points to the middle seat, and says, "Do you want to just go in?"
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
All of a sudden,
Twice.
I don't know what to do. My headphones are in. I'm listening to a podcast. I barely hear. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in the middle seat.
Wow.
I got
Twice.
snookered. I got double downgraded from
That's
the best
insane.
seat aisle. Skipped fast pass through the window
It's
seat.
insane that it happened to you twice.
All of a sudden, I'm
one
in
day.
the middle. I'm in the middle seat. She doesn't deserve the middle seat.
No,
But if anyone deserves it, it's the big fat tub of lard next to me. You know?
that's crazy.
I almost raised my hand and said, "Stewardess, can you kick this man
You're
off
too
the
harsh
plane?"
on the big guy. Come on.
I don't know. Can
No.
I tell you?
All right. The fact that he was big has nothing to do. I'm just trying to paint you guys a picture.
Sure.
That's a scumbag move.
It is.
He upgraded his own seat as if it was a favor. You can't do that.
Can I tell you my
You still could've
lack
stayed,
of
though.
ability to do something like that? I went on a flight in the summer. I went to California with my girlfriend, and we ended up with seats across the aisle from each other.
Right.
I think I was in the
That's
middle,
a classic Chris thing.
and she was in the other middle.
carving
Oh,
one,
no.
carving,
And I just didn't-
carving one pumpkin.
Saving some change.
And I didn't, because I booked the flights very far in
You
advance. so that
can't
whole
offer up a switch then. There.
thing.
You
But right
can't do
then,
it.
like it would have. I think at least I would have felt a little.
How did you
better.
guys not get in the same aisle?
I don't know. I booked it. Got a great deal on it. Traded up.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, it would have been.
It would have been
Oh,
more acceptable.
for
But
you to do
even
it.
then, it's like I'm not gonna, because I would have had to take in an aisle seat probably for this to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take an aisle seat from someone.
Yeah.
And hey,
Well,
and you know me on
Wait,
a
you
plane.
said you were both in the middle?
I think so, if I remember
You could have
correctly.
you could have taken a window.
That's true. I don't remember
That's
the
true.
exact
Yeah.
situation.
Either way, it's an upgrade, which you
Either
don't
way-
deserve. You
Either
as a
way,
person don't deserve
I
that.
also wanted to go make some friends on the airplane. You know, I'm into that.
Uh,
I probably could have just been like, "Hey, man, you wanna?"
I was
Straight up.
roaring mad for the whole
Wait,
flight.
I actually
was in my seat shaking, for God's sakes, because now my bag is under this woman's legs.
Oh,
So if I
you're
needed
not
something
getting
in my
that then.
bag, what am I going to say? Pardon me, miss, can I please go through your legs? Wink. I'm not going to do something like that.
I just remembered a really quick story about this too, and then we can get to the task at hand here. But when I was flying back from where the heck was it?
Orlando, Florida.
Where
from
was
the,
it?
from
No,
the
it
Disney
was
Marathon.
it was when I was going back from spring break. When I was coming back from California, which
Right.
I missed an episode for. On the way back, it was after the first layover, or there was only one layover. So on the
Yeah.
second plane, it's from like Cincinnati to Boston.
Mhm.
That was like the first time that I had been on a plane that it wasn't like at capacity. So there was like an open seat, and I was like in the seat. I was in the aisle seat, so I was like feeling pretty good about
Nice.
it.
So the middle seat's open now? Is that what
And
you're saying?
no, like, but so my row was full, me
Okay.
and two other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other side. Oh no, wait, hold on. No, you know what? This was what it
Were
was.
you actually on a plane?
This is what it was. Sorry,
There was a fat man on the flight.
I was
Lord.
I was in the middle seat, and there was a girl
sorry.
to my left and like an older woman, not older, like our mom's age or something, to my right.
Chill.
and then on the other side, on like across the aisle, there was empty, and a guy in the window seat.
So you're
Okay.
trying to finagle
No,
a massive switch.
I just kind of like was accepted it, like, oh, whatever. But then the lady to my right, the older woman, says, "Hey, why don't you move to that seat?"
Yeah.
But
Genius.
why didn't she just move? I felt very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I was like, "Oh, like, do you want me to?" And she
Do I
was
smell
like,
bad or
"Oh, I
something?"
don't know. It's up to you." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll move then." But
Mm.
it was very weird. Like I had to move all my stuff. It's like what you were saying. It's the opposite of the scooch over strategy.
Yeah.
Like I had to.
Yeah.
I had my bag in the seat. I had to get it up. I had to walk over her.
It did put you
Why
in a
didn't
better-
she just move to
I
the
know,
other
she
side?
should have moved.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It did put
yeah.
you in a better position though.
It
And-
did, yeah. But I felt very uncomfortable. Like it was as if she was like, she,
Like, you
she
smell
said it
bad
in
or
like a
something.
somewhat hostile way. Yeah,
Just like get out.
like,
Yeah.
you're like, you want to move over there? And I was like, oh, I'm okay.
So
I
did you
don't know.
stay?
No, I did move
Oh,
because
nice.
she like I was just like, oh, I don't really care. Like the same thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
man, I
whatever,
hate
whatever.
this.
All right.
So either way, air travel, staying at a hard nay for
a nay,
me.
a nay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we are already 15 minutes in. We
All right,
need
let's
to
get
get
into this
fantastic.
podcast.
And-
What are we talking about, guys?
Talking about what?
Mythical that- you know what,
beasts?
I'm gonna come
I don't know
around.
the word.
Is it mythical or is it mythological? Those are
No,
two good.
it's mythical. Mythological is
It's like
like
Greek
what you were
stuff,
talking
right?
about. It's the boar and Zeus.
But that is
No, I'm kidding about the boar. It's like Zeus
Oh,
and
okay.
Zeus and Hermes or whatever.
Yeah.
so
That's
mythological.
that's myths.
Equals Greek. Yeah, myths.
But these are myths and
mythical
legends.
mythical beasts are not mythological beasts. Mythological beasts are like Cerberus and stuff like that. Maybe
I think Cerberus could have
Cerberus
been
might have
discussed
made
on
up.
this episode. But
Or
okay,
like,
well, you know what?
like Poseidon is like a mythological.
Is it mythological have to be religious?
not a beast,
Religious too.
No, maybe
Maybe
yeah.
the creature's not beasts.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
kind of like
Maybe.
this is I don't think it'll get backlash from the people who worship Greek gods, but I've always not.
Our fan base
taken-
is big on the Greek gods.
Greek gods I've never really taken seriously as potential
Uh-huh.
deities. You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's just fairy tales, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, dude, chill.
We'll save that for
So
our,
anyway,
we'll save that for our mythological creatures.
yes.
but I think that might be it. Is that mythical is no religious at all. They're not gods or anything, and mythological is the
Uh-oh.
god
I
aspect.
might have to switch mine because mine is religious a little bit.
Oh, is it really?
Well, see you guys. All right, well, Chris.
I think
Should
we
I get
did.
into
I
it?
think we did mythical. Mythical.
We did mythical.
Yeah.
I mean,
The jury's
who
out on
knows?
that one.
All right, Chris,
Write
you're
in
up
if you're
first. If yours has a lick
Wait,
of
I-
religion to it,
I have
I'm
an
gonna
idea.
be
I have an idea.
Mad.
Okay, before we start, can we? Because we're gonna put the names in the title, right?
Yeah.
Usually we do that. Let's do a little teaser of all of ours, so we can kind of like
All right.
get it going, and then we'll
Just
go.
the-
like
the
a
name?
a 30-second like this is what my thing is.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to be
And then I'll
talking
go.
about the Chupacabra,
Yes.
the mythical beast found first in Puerto Rico.
I like how Chris calls it the Chupacabra.
Yeah,
Whereas
isn't it
everyone
El?
else in the world calls it El Chupacabra.
I'm trying to humanize it a
But
little
it's
bit.
not wrong to call it the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get until later what Chupacabra translates to. huh?
Okay.
I think I might
gonna be my
know.
So
little-
Chris,
my
you're
little
talking
hype.
about the Chupacabra.
Yeah, L.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just screwed it up again.
The El
All
Chupacabra.
right, and I'm talking about the Beast of Gevaudan.
You were saying it so well earlier.
Yeah, are you asking us?
Gevaudan. Yeah, it's like a French province. It's like a werewolf kind of thing, is what my idea is.
So if you want to listen to Chris's and then just you can
Skip
fast forward
Anders.
15, 20
Yeah.
minutes
Mhm.
and then you'll hear about my mythical beast, Krampus, aka the Christmas Demon.
Fun.
I'm so excited for these.
Yeah, this
All
is
right,
fun.
so those are our beasts. We got El Chupacabra, the Beast of Gevaudan,
That's good.
That one
Thank
was
you,
better, yeah.
and Krampus.
And
Okay.
Krampus, the Christmas Demon.
And coming in, coming in last place, Krampus.
All right, Chris, take
Cool.
it away.
Chupacabra. So I wanted to do, we've thrown around this episode for a while. This
Yeah.
has been an idea we've had for a while. And one of my I wanted to do the Chupacabra at first, but I recently think I might have had a Chupacabra sighting.
Whoa.
But I'll save it for the end. So
I'm terrified now.
as
And that's my research.
that's all I got. So I hinted at it earlier, but Chupacabra, anyone know what it translates to?
Isn't it like devil something?
Isn't it like Goat Man or something?
Yeah, so the Spanish chupar is
Uh-huh.
to suck, and the Spanish cabra is a goat. We're talking about a goat sucker. You guys don't want to mess around with any sort of goat
I
sucker.
quit the podcast. I can't do this.
I wrote in my notes, name comes from its like of eating goats.
All right, so he doesn't. The Chupacabra doesn't necessarily look like a goat.
No,
It just sucks on goats.
it just sucks the
It definitely
heck out
doesn't
of
look
it.
like a goat.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not camouflage. It's like a. Isn't it like an emaciated being?
Let me give you a brief
Like
description.
Smeagol?
We're talking 4 to 5 feet tall on average.
425.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Phew.
is pretty tall.
for a
you know,
beast.
for
For
a beast.
for
Yeah.
a mythical beast, it's not very tall. For a
For
No,
what?
no. For a mythical beast, it is. For a mythological beast,
Sure.
it's not. The Greek gods, I mean, come on.
yeah, that's true.
But in my head, I thought of a chupacabra being like a little,
Yeah, like
little,
cat
little guy.
sized.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I did too.
So the
Now another thing. Hold on. 4 to 5 feet tall.
yeah,
So does it stand on 2 legs?
I don't think so. I think it kind of
Because I would never like. If I
Oh,
measured
yeah.
my dog, I would never say
That's
like,
true.
"Oh, he's 2 feet
Stand
tall."
up, stand up.
He's long. You know, he's
Yeah.
not tall. So is the chupacabra on 4 legs still 4 feet tall?
I doubt it. I
jury's
doubt
out on that one, I guess.
yeah, we'll find out. Okay.
I guess I've never seen one, or have I? No, the funniest thing is when I was looking at notes, they have there's this website that had a good description of it, and it said its closest known relative is the Jersey Devil. So I just pictured the Jersey Devil, and then imagine what that looks like. But they've been seen in 2 different ways. One is as a more reptilian version, a
Ooh.
green kind of spooky guy. The other one more like a dog-ish
That's what I think. That's what I've
brown
heard of.
furry
Yeah.
hair.
Mhm. Like a
Kind of
nice golden retriever.
Yep, and always very piercing red eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So have you seen the video that we me and a couple friends used to watch?
Yeah,
at, like, in early
yeah.
high school. Were you?
I
Were
did.
you part of that?
I was
crew?
part of that Chupacabra crew.
It's
That's what we
really
called
funny.
ourselves.
Have you seen it, Alex?
I don't think so.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but it's just like this.
You
so
gave
stupid
no
video.
It was a great
description of this
sighting.
video.
Oh, Chris
so-
knew immediately though.
Yeah.
It's like weird found footage, and it's like the night cam kind of thing. You know that like
Is this a comedy video? Or
no,
is it,
no.
Okay.
It's real footage of a chupacabra.
I'll have to
and
look
it's
it
like-
up. We're getting spooked.
You know that like night cam
Yeah,
thing I'm talking
green.
about? It's like kind of green, yeah. And they just like very quick, and they like pan onto like something, and they're like talking in Spanish, whispering, and then it just like looks at the camera, and its eyes are like glowing
Red?
Mhm.
No, it's like it's as if like it was spooked and it caught the lighting weird, and it looks really scary, but it's probably nothing, and then they just run away.
I'll get into it later. It is real.
Yeah.
So the first sighting of the chupacabra, 1995.
No, that's kind of recent.
That's the
1995,
first
yeah,
sighting?
we were alive for that. Yeah.
Holy crow.
8 sheep were found dead
Oh my
in
god.
Puerto Rico.
No, you're thinking to myself. I'm thinking to myself. This guy's tells everyone around town, "Oh, I suck goats. I
Yeah,
suck
that's what I'm
goats."
saying.
No, he kills 8 sheep.
Yeah.
What, for sport? I mean,
All of these sheep had a small pierce, like basically a bite mark, but like a very distinctive
Back to vampires. huh?
one
Yeah.
hole. Yeah. Kinda
one
creepy.
hole.
One hole in them, and all
Whoa.
of the blood had drained out.
Oh my god.
So it wasn't just like, an animal came and
Yeah,
destroyed
vicious
it.
attack.
Because if a wild animal is to come and to attack these sheep, it's doing it for food.
Yeah,
Right.
it's gonna be
Eat
eating
it.
something.
This thing
Interesting.
clearly.
It's a good thing.
wanted to
Needed the
suck its blood.
electrolytes. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So we got Marilyn Tolanito.
Mhm.
She was the first one on the
As a
scene.
woman, okay.
Who she was the first witness. She saw El Chupacabra before it even had a name, and she painted a picture of it, basically how I described before.
Actually painted a picture of it.
A well-known artist.
Listen to episode 53.
Was that painting?
Bob
she,
Ross, yeah.
she didn't actually paint it.
Okay.
Now, when this first happened, people likened it to killings in 1975 in a village where tons of animals were found, hundreds,
Okay.
and they thought it was El Vampiro de Mota, the
What was
vampire of Mota.
Okay.
But other people think that when these killings come up, it's not Chupacabra, it's not the Vampiro,
Mhm.
it's a dang satanic cult
Oh, that's
killing
that's-
for sport.
That makes more sense.
So I don't know which side. Would you? My thought.
But that
when I
does
saw
make
this,
sense. I mean,
would you rather there be a group of creeps out there killing animals, for some sort of weird religious thing, or would you
Well,
rather there
that's-
be El Chupacabra?
that's a real I'm pretty sure it's like true that there are crazy satanic people out there who
Yeah.
Yeah.
suck blood out of like cows.
Mhm.
So
Oh, have you seen the movie The Babysitter?
no, is that what it's
Isn't that
about?
with what's his name? The
No,
Jack
that's
dude?
that's
The Sitter.
That's the sitter.
What's his name?
With Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
There's a new movie on Netflix called The Babysitter, and
Mhm.
it's pretty good. It's like a campy, kind of movie.
Sure.
And that's like the thing. It's like the babysitter is that like this little kid. He has a crush on his babysitter. Turns out she kills people and like drinks their blood and stuff.
Wow.
That's a
Insane.
bummer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I wish the babysitter was actually El Chupacabra.
Can I tell
And the movie's nonfiction.
a quick blood story? Yesterday I was at the gym, and on the TV,
Oh,
you know
God.
Andrew Zimmern or whatever that show,
Bizarre Foods.
Bizarre Foods.
Oh yeah.
They had a whole episode on drinking blood.
What is up? This is
This is while I'm at the
quitting
gym running on the
podcast.
treadmill.
What is?
what
That's
is
what we
up with
started
this?
this podcast with.
I know.
People out there actually drinking
I
blood?
don't know. I sure hope not.
That's like that Nathan For You episode where the guy talks about drinking.
Is me?
His like
son's pee.
grandson's
Grandson's
pee or
I watched that one
something
the
like
other day. So funny.
I am a vampire.
But anyway,
hold
I
on.
do consume
What are you doing?
human blood.
I just wanted to
I
play
don't
that
want to
part.
hear that ever
I
again.
just
Like,
wanted to play that
that
part.
guy's serious.
I do consume human blood.
I gotta say for the fans, I forgot my headphones this episode, so I don't know what's going on. But I told him I'd save it for when I listen.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'll
exciting. It's
probably never
exciting.
hear it. Now this was striking to me. Who do you think coined this Chupacabra name?
It's not Maryland.
Is it a famous person?
Silvero Perez, comedian.
No, really?
Let me. That kind of tells me, how serious this thing is.
Yeah. What the heck?
Was it in like a stand-up joke or something? I
Wait,
don't know.
who is? Is this a well-known comedian?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Just probably some guy in Puerto Rico. But you,
He's like, guys, hear this. L. You know what? No. The Chupacabra.
Honestly, the joke, like, I don't know how well it translates, but if someone said like goat sucker, I'd probably be like, oh, that's kind of funny,
Yeah, but that is what it did. Well, I guess it was sheep, but either way, that is what it was doing. So I
Yeah.
could see it as a joke, or I could see it as
A literal description.
that's what they were
yeah.
trying to call it.
Yep. So there was a book written, Tracking the Chupacabra, which is the biggest like research probably on this thing.
Wait, so at this point, are people? Sorry, so is this like a cult thing already? Like people are already talking about it? Like how many years later is this?
So the book was written in 2004.
So this is the
It's
one
10 years
sighting.
later. Nope. So in this time,
Shut up real quick.
let me continue.
Sorry.
There had been I think it said 30 people claimed to have seen it.
Mhm.
So it's something that's reappearing.
So
Okay.
people are no longer thinking it's the satanic.
But I think
thing
more
we're talking about.
a big thing about it is there were like over 1,000 animals were found over this time, reported killed, same way, just like blood,
I can't.
drained.
I can't. So, let's say I wanted to suck the blood out of a sheep.
You're
right?
how do you say sheep in Spanish?
No, not chupa. I don't know.
A chupacabra.
And let's say I wanted to do that for sport. For sport.
Yeah.
I would have
leisure.
I would have to kill the sheep first.
Mhm.
I can't wrangle an animal.
And
that makes me think it is an El Chupacabra because if it was a satanic cult, they would kill the animal first and then suck their blood,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
But how would they kill it?
Yes, definitely.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. If they were shown
Do you
that
think
they
they
weren't
just kill it with a big chomp?
with a big syringe just sucking the blood out.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That really wouldn't work. The
'Cause
sheep
if-
would be like, what's going on?
If
Stop.
these sheep are seen and they weren't like shot or anything, there's only one suck mark.
You're right.
Mhm.
Then it's got to be the Chupacabra.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
One funny thing that I read, so I guess one thing that people say is like, they're like, oh, it's a dog, it's a coyote or something. A lot of the reports that people had made of seeing this animal, some scientist, let's say, I don't know who it was who reported it, said that when coyotes get a certain disease, they look that way, they just look like more deranged or something.
Yeah.
So that's what people were saying. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, but people were saying was like, if it was a dog or a coyote, then they would have just eaten it, right? I brought that
Right,
up earlier.
yeah.
They would have just eaten it. But this guy, who I think believes in it, said that dogs or coyotes might not have learned that you eat them. Like, that was his big defense. He's like, when you're a small dog or coyote, you don't know better. But
Maybe they were sick that day in class.
very weird. I don't know. Just a weird defense
Yeah, but
for this, like,
That is
scholar.
weird. Because what, they would learn to
To kill.
randomly suck
Yeah.
blood out of
To
something?
suck, like, to get, like, one chomp that puts you out.
I don't think dogs can suck. You know?
Excuse me?
Like humans have cheeks. Dogs don't have cheeks.
Mm.
They lick. They don't suck.
So chupacabras would have to have cheeks,
human
is what you're
mouth.
saying. Yeah. Ooh.
My lord, this is getting spookier by the second.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's been sightings of it, mostly localized around Puerto Rico and Latin America, that area.
Okay.
But in 2014, a couple in Texas
Whoa.
caught a chupacabra.
Chris-
2017.
Christmas is
saw
you.
a Chupacabra. Can't wait.
No, yeah, so I don't know. I just saw that that headline when I was searching.
Was there a
for it.
picture?
I didn't look into it.
Dude, are you serious?
So you didn't look into it?
You're saying that you see that article, take that down as a potential lead, and then don't follow up on it.
I think
Well, Chris saw a
little bit more
Chupacabra,
hype.
so he doesn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I tell you about my chupacabra?
Yeah,
sighting?
let's hear that.
So I'm driving.
This was in the car.
No, I'm walking.
Raccoon.
It was probably a raccoon, but I'm driving on a pretty main road, middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
This
just
was in
nighttime.
the middle of the night.
There's an animal sitting there with the reddest eyes I've ever seen.
Oh, that is scary.
It was really scary. I don't know what it was. It might have been a flashlight.
On the
It might have
road?
been a chupacabra on the road.
Like directly in front of you?
Side
or?
of the road.
Okay.
Right off.
See, I'm gonna tell myself that was a Chupacabra
Yeah, I think it was.
because if it was any other animal, if that was like a cat,
Mhm.
I would be terrified now for the rest of my life that I'm gonna run across a red-eyed cat and it's
Demon
gonna
cat.
haunt me.
Jeez.
I know I'll never run across an El Chupacabra, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll tell myself.
Well, get ready. In mine, there might be, I'm not, never mind.
Something worse than
This
an
is
El
something worse,
Chupacabra.
something worse, yeah.
So you think it was an El Chupacabra, Chris?
I think that was probably an El Chupacabra.
Just in Massachusetts?
Yeah, I'd say it probably
Maybe
made its way up.
that's
I mean, Puerto Rico having some tough times right now.
That's true.
Hope
That's
everything's
true.
doing well. Maybe it made its way to Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So should we say our belief
What do you think? I think
after each
what
one?
I'm curious about to you guys is, in this crazy world we live in,
Mhm.
would you rather there be chupacabras or would you rather there be the
Satan.
satanic
Satan
cults?
worshippers, Yeah. Interesting.
if that's the question you're asking, I guess I would rather. I mean, if they're both doing the same thing, it's
It might as well be.
upsetting both ways.
That's true.
I would say I think the El Chupacabra is one of the most believable mythical
Yeah.
beasts
Mhm.
because all it's doing is killing animals and sucking their blood. It's not like
Yeah.
it's walking around,
But-
being the demon of Christmas or whatnot.
But I think the spookiest thing about it is that it's not eating them. It's like it's
it
really
is
just out to
spooky.
kill.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, this
God.
is interesting.
Hmm.
I'm reading this article that Chris never decided to click on. Texas Chupacabra turns out to be imposter.
What was it? Just like
But
Wait, that's a picture of Chris.
yeah.
Just me and my
mugshot.
car.
That looks like a baby bear, maybe.
Yeah, what it's saying is that what you're saying, Chris, is that like it literally is a goat sucker. It's out to kill.
So it is a chupacabra.
It's out to suck blood. That's
Of
the
goats.
defining feature of the chupacabra. So
it could be real.
I don't know what this is saying. It's clear that it's not, because the video of the creature shows that the chupacabra doesn't have the anatomical mouth features that would allow it to suck blood.
Wow.
Interesting.
Thank you. Call me professor. Call me professor.
It's like research shows that it was actually the couple's dog.
Well, that's interesting then, because I feel like that they're trying to
Then it must be a human.
they're trying to fit something that doesn't work. Like none of
Yeah.
the chupacabra things will be able
but
to
if
suck,
it's
probably.
if it's
its own species or
species,
whatever,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say right now, it exists. A goat sucker exists. If this-
And you're looking at it.
Look at these cheeks. You think these could suck? But we just don't know if it's a mythical creature or if it's
or a human.
or a human for real though. You know?
Yeah, okay.
Don't look at me like I'm the chupacabra, guys.
All right. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that take as well. I think I don't know, like as we talked about at the end of conspiracy theories too regarding the teleportation and stuff, I tend to be a little more lenient on the people saying they saw something. So
You gotta have at least an open mind.
you got to have an open mind. Yeah, that's what we said. So I think probably not. I think this is probably one of the weaker ones at that. This really does seem like, especially since it came around in 1995, it really seems like something that was kind of blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And it is strange, but I don't think that the invention of a being is necessary.
I can tell you my opinion on this. Before recording, I don't know if I told you guys, I stopped at Taco Bell for dinner.
Okay.
Haven't been there in a while.
All right.
Got a chalupa.
What does this have to do with El Chupacabra?
Why don't I feel like they could somehow embrace the chupacabra in
Yeah,
their
all right.
branding.
I like that. Chupacabra.
A chalupa. Ooh.
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
like corn on the cob, but with the
but goat meat.
chupacabra.
Corn on the cobra.
Also, my last note, I didn't mention it. Eric Estrada started a movie about the chupacabra.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
why aren't there more movies about?
Yeah.
I guess there probably are some really bad movies.
Very
about El
low budget.
Chupacabra.
Eric Estrada featured.
Yeah, there's like bad Bigfoot movies in that Bigfoot TV show.
Remember that big
Finding
movie
Bigfoot.
me and you watched that one time?
The Bigfoot movie?
Yeah,
that was
great
like,
movie.
that was terrible. Yeah.
Wow.
Really bad. We couldn't even
it was
finish
bad.
It was bad.
It wasn't Harry and the Hendersons.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we were
I
watching
think it was called Bigfoot.
It was just a Bigfoot movie.
I think it was around the time of the Bigfoot hype.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just terrible. Like really poor animation, just so bad.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a must miss.
Wish it was a Chupacabra movie.
Yeah.
We'll
All right,
seek it
Andrew.
out.
You're up.
All right, guys. So here is what mine is. Once again, the Beast of Gevaudan, which is
You're getting better.
I don't.
I
I,
like-
just.
I
I don't
like
like.
French.
I don't like hearing you say that.
I'm gonna keep saying it. Which is basically when I was looking at my beast, or whatever we call it, mythical creature. I wanted to do something on werewolves because they were kind of bigger, and I like the idea of a human, like an innocent human, all of a sudden transforming into a werewolf.
Yeah.
I guess. So I was looking at werewolves, and like casually on the Wikipedia page, they dropped that. Oh yeah, and one time in France there was this thing that might have been a werewolf that killed like 150 people. Or no, sorry, it was like 60 to 100 or something.
That's insane.
And it was like, yeah, and it's like I was like, well, okay, like maybe I'll click on this thing. I click on this thing. It's the whatever.
What
I'll
was
just
it?
call it the Beast from here on out.
Wait, what? Just one more time. One more time, please.
It is.
I'll take my headphones
The
out.
Beast of Gevaudan. All right, so
which loosely translates into the goat sucker.
Of Gevaudan.
So it's in Gevaudan, which I guess was in the so the time period is 1764 to 1767.
Good.
So it's a
good time.
long
for
time
mythical
ago.
Creatures.
Yeah.
A full 230 years before the Chupacabra
Yeah.
was even around. Which
Google's
is
not around
pretty
for
crazy.
this. No camera phones.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So-
No MySpace.
no
Techno.
proof whatsoever.
That's true. So
People didn't even know how to write.
basically, it starts like this: there's this beast out in the distance, okay, and a woman sees this. She's tending to her cattle. She sees this beast, and it's like, oh my god, this is like basically a giant-looking wolf, really dark. And then one thing that I thought was interesting is that it was described as, let's see, where the heck is? Oh, here it is: formidable teeth and an immense tail. Okay, like a huge tail. That's what really
That's
freaks me out, I guess.
How
So
huge is this thing?
this beast was out in the field, and this woman was tending to her cattle or whatever, and she said the beast was staring her down, and all of a sudden it's about to charge at her, and the cattle, the bulls, they defend her. They charge at this beast.
Oh, that's nice.
And the beast gets scared and runs away. That's the first sighting of it. It's June 1764. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, this is kind of gruesome. Just as like a heads up. It's not like a fun little
Should I leave
like
the room?
Texas couple finds Chupacabra and it's a hoax. Like this is some real stuff.
Eric Estrada was in a video about the Gevaudan.
So that was in June. I think that was in June. And then 2 months later, or the 2 months later is June, whatever. 2 months later from that time,
I'm bored.
there is the first death from this beast. Okay, and I will spare the details of the deaths, but let's just say that these people freaking died. Okay,
Oh my God.
like this guy,
They
like,
were for sure dead.
it would like go right for the throats. Like it would rip off body parts. Like
Wow.
it killed people
No
for
mercy.
sure. Like yes, and so this was in this province called Gevaudan, which is in southern France, basically. So it's this small area in like the 1700s in France, and this beast just starts killing people, mostly kids, because it's like easier to get them, I guess, like younger kids under
Sure.
10 or something. And but
Okay.
a couple like younger women too.
I don't like you talking about the strategy of this beast. It's creeping me out.
Sorry, I got really into it.
Yeah. Why
Um,
didn't go for a sheep or a goat?
so-
Maybe?
Yeah, come on.
it starts killing people, and people are freaking out. Like the stories go from like people were outside playing to like people were tending their crops or whatever,
Oh, I
and
thought
then
you were
like
gonna say sheep.
and then literally like
chupas.
to someone like gardening or something, and just gets killed by this beast.
And everyone's saying like it was a beast. It was a beast that
Yes.
killed my Aunt Meredith.
Yeah.
They're not saying like it was this man or something like that.
no, they're all
They didn't
saying
think it was a satanic cult or
Yeah.
something.
they're all saying that it was this beast, and
Wow.
the descriptions vary obviously because it's like classic like. Oh, did it have like black fur? Like, oh yeah, it had black fur.
It had red
It had
eyes.
red eyes, yeah.
Oh, we. Oh, we.
But so the big idea is that like I said, it had a big tail, and it was just like this really scary looking like wolf, but potentially like there was something about it that made it like not like a wolf. It was a beast. You
Yeah,
know,
it was that-
it was huge.
You know, it was the 20-foot long tail it had behind it.
Probably. So it started killing these people, and people were really freaking out. Like people started to die. So obviously that was no good. So this hunter comes in, and he starts trying to like get the beast, right?
This is great. This is like it's like Van Helsing, where it's like that one guy who's like,
I'll get it.
I'll get it. I know what I'm doing.
See,
Don't
that
you
would be
see
a great
this
movie.
one silver
So-
bullet?
He goes to try and get the beast. And I will say I got a lot of my source from the podcast Lore. It's a pretty popular podcast, I guess, but
Yeah, it
it
is.
basically talks about mythical stuff. And I guess they had
Krampus.
done an episode on this recently, which is pretty coincidentally, but it was only about a month ago, so it was kind of cool to hear
I
that.
got most of my stuff, just so you guys know, from the website How Stuff Works.
yeah,
They had
cool.
an article called How Chupacabras Work.
You see, the human cheek can suck. And this is how.
From the Chupacabra, sometimes El Chupacabra.
Depending if you're talking to Chris or not.
All right, so anyway, this guy tries to hunt the Chupacabra. He brings in a platoon.
You mean
or,
the
sorry,
the beast of
the beast
of
not the Chupacabra.
of Gevaudan.
He's 230 years behind. Nice job, Chris. And he goes to hunt it, and allegedly this is getting to be where it becomes a tall tale for me. But apparently they shoot the beast. They get it, okay? And the people are celebrating. They walk up slowly towards the beast. It's like it's down, you know. All of a sudden, gets up and runs away. And people freaking out, like what just happened? Like we had this thing, we had it killed, it gets away. Whoa, okay, crazy. So that guy, I forget his name, not important. Just call him Bad Hunter. Okay, he was really bad. Later on, he tried to like use like a woman as bait or something, and they were like, "Just get out of here, dude." He's like, "Enough. You're not. You messed up the first
That's
time."
messed up in 1764.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea. So he goes. Then this guy is kind of important. Jacques Portefeuille. Yeah, I think that's French. Okay. So it's this 12-year-old boy, and his friends are playing outside, and the beast comes for them. It grabs their friend. But we've talked about this before. Kids, they don't care. You know, they're fine with whatever. They don't run away. They start attacking the beast. They start finding whatever they can find and start hitting the beast. And they freak it out, and the beast runs away. And these kids are like basically heroes. From this, word spread of this beast in southern France. Louis the 15th, the king of France,
He runs
hears
the
about
place.
this beast, but the beast got away again.
Yeah.
Hears about this beast and is like, wow, this is insane. I need to help my people out. This beast is killing people. It's already, no joke, it's probably killed about 30 to 25 to 30 people in the past. I'd say that happened. Yeah, in the past like 8 months that happened. So he finds out in early 1765, and he says 300 livres, which is the currency then, also means book in French, kind of weird.
Okay.
Which is good, I think. Apparently that is like a year and a half's like salary for like a working person. So that's good. And he says to get me the corpse of the beast, and you get that.
Wow.
So people try to do that. It doesn't work. The beast keeps killing people. But another woman was able to like survive due to like this bravery kind of thing, where apparently
hold on. Don't do air quotes about a woman being brave.
No, I mean sorry.
This kind of brave. I heard about it one time.
What I meant is like the kids were brave, so that word got out that like be brave, even though people did die, I think. But this woman actually kind of badass. She carried around a spear. And her time came where the beast came for her, and she stabbed it and got away. But since then, no one could get the beast. So then Louis the 15th sends down his, like, I don't know what he's called, but it's the guy who carries the guns with him when he goes hunting. I think his name is Dick Cheney. Yeah. He brings him down,
nice.
and he tells him, "All right, I've had enough of this. You got to just kill this thing. This is ridiculous." The guy goes. And he goes, "All right, I'm an experienced hunter, whatever."
Could you maybe could you say it as if he would have said it in the time?
Yeah. You got it, George. All right, here we go. Time to get this thing.
Who is this? Donald Trump?
I was hoping more for a French voice, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wait. So no one had tried guns at this point?
Well, they shot it once, right?
No,
they got away.
They did shoot it, and it got away.
Because of this bravery shit.
Yeah.
Because so-called bravery. And so this guy goes to kill it, and he goes down, and
Cheney.
I will just call him Cheney. Mm-hmm. He camps out, and he's, telling these people, like, we're going to be, I got you guys. Another side note I wanted to mention is that was interesting that this beast attacked in this province, but the range of attacks were, like, within a 50-mile radius, which is insane. Like, apparently
covered some ground.
It traveled. But obviously the attacks weren't, like, one, in a couple hours, it was 50 miles away. It was like it would just travel around. Yeah. So he goes down there, and he finds the beast, and him and his guys are attacking it, and apparently one of his soldiers shoots the beast right through the eye, and he gets the beast, and that's it. Kind of anticlimactic, but he kills the beast, but it's not over. He kills the beast. He brings the beast back to Louis the 15th, gets it all stuffed up like taxidermy or whatever, puts it in a museum, and apparently it's like a huge wolf. It was 60 kilograms, which is like 135 pounds or something.
Like that, sure.
100, yeah, like about that. That's huge. So it's in this museum now, and apparently it's all done. Okay, now 72 days later, a long time off from the usually the beast attacks.
Did he get his 300 libras?
Well, he was like.
That was like
he was like a hired gun.
He was probably on the clock.
I think no joke. I think he got that actually he was allowed to get like a beast like pin on his like coat of arms or something badass. That. Yeah, and he got like whatever spoils. I don't know. And then
I don't know. He reaped the spoils. Or something.
Probably did that. But then another attack. Another kid has been killed by the beast, and people are freaking out again. Like, okay, maybe it was a wolf attack, because I guess that happened back then, sad as it is. But apparently that was like a thing.
Okay.
But no, like I was saying earlier, these people freaking died. Like the way that these people were killed, it was the beast. So more people started dying, and they say like, "Hey, Louis, like the beast is still here." Oh, another thing is kind of gruesome again, but they like dissected autopsied the beast, and there were no human remains in that beast, which was like not what they were expecting, I guess.
I thought you were gonna say no human cheeks. Like, if it wanted to be a chupacabra,
and
had to eat it.
So they say Louis, like it's still out there, and he's like, I guess his son had died recently. He's like, like. We got it, guys. I'm sorry. Like I'm not dealing with this again.
15th. Come on, man.
I don't blame him. I don't know.
Louis.
He thought he got it. It's just like, are you sure this is the same beast?
So this was just another massive wolf beast?
Yeah, like there were probably two, or the first one was like a phony.
Just two.
Wow.
Yeah. So then this is like my favorite part of the story now. So now, after that guy had gone, it's all up to these townspeople basically to do it themselves, because
Sure.
it's like this is like the climax of the story, you know, like it's like, all right, we did it, and then all of a sudden, like, no, it's not
still
over
out
yet.
there.
It's still out there, and it's still attacking people. And one guy he was a local hunter. His name is Jean Chastel, and he has, to this day, spoiler alert, he has a placard, like a little statue dedicated to him because of what he did. So Jean Chastel, I actually really like this part. He goes out and he camps out. And like people had tried to kill the beast, and I don't think a lot of people like died hunting it, but they just couldn't get it. And this guy is just going for it, and he's like a poor guy. I think he's a peasant farmer, but he's old. He's like 60 or something. And he was like, "My people have had enough. I'm doing this." This is in 1967. So
What?
yeah, sorry. This is much later. So I think
Jeez.
I think the original beast was killed.
This was my uncle.
The original beast was probably killed in late 1765, and then the attacks like continued again for like another year. Like,
Oh wait,
it's
you
bad.
mean century?
Or two.
And okay, so he camps out, and he's got these 2 silver bullets.
This is 19.
Oh no, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I said 19. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
get
was
the
Like
joke.
1967. I was like, dude, what?
I didn't get the joke.
All he
Sorry.
got was a plaque.
1767.
Okay.
I mean, I've never
Thank God.
never used the 1700s before. That's my
Okay.
excuse. Sorry. So only a couple years later, but a lot of time has passed. Basically, he goes out to get this thing. Oh, geez! You see that
watch out.
spider?
It's a beast.
Whoa.
There's a beast on the
Oh,
computer.
wow.
There's a mythical
Oh, that is
creature
spooky.
on my computer right
We're
now.
looking at this
Right the
white
climax.
spider.
Oh my God, Chris is trying to suck on the spider.
That was gross. All right, do we have a paper towel or something? I'm not really scared of spiders. So.
I'm terrified.
We're
of
not
it.
editing
All right,
this out.
kill it,
because-
kill it. Oh, did you get it?
Wow. Ugh.
All right.
There's another.
It ran away.
Double
There's a
shock.
second beast. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that was
Who would have thought we
interesting,
would have had a live
During this
live
episode, during this
creature.
episode.
What a mythical creature.
Our first
Beast.
live beast.
All right. So back to the end of the story. This guy, he gets 2 silver bullets, which I guess is a thing. Did you guys know that apparently silver, like bullets beat werewolves or something?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, okay. So this is where it originates from, actually. Kind of cool. I didn't know that. So,
really? Okay.
yeah. So he gets these 2 silver bullets. He goes to church, and he gets. Oh, another thing. Like, there's a lot of religious undertones to this beast. Like, people might have thought it was like people did think that it was like God, like punishing them for something. Not necessarily like its victims, but maybe everyone as a whole. So he goes to this church and he gets these 2 silver bullets. That's all he goes with, and he gets them blessed by the preacher or whatever, or the priest. He goes and he camps out, and while he's like camping out, he's like literally just like praying, like he's just like praying to God, like while he's there for like strength or whatever, to beat this beast. Eventually, the beast finally confronts him. Like it's out there or something. He has the element of surprise. The beast is not expecting him there, or it's like it knows someone's there, but it doesn't see him. He fires at the beast with he has 2 bullets. He fires the beast with 1 bullet, misses, misses. The beast now knows exactly where he is.
Yeah.
The beast starts charging at him. Some say he was on 2 legs, but I like to leave that part out of the story because that doesn't make any sense.
The beast?
Yeah, I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
He's no
doesn't make any
Bigfoot of
sense.
Gevaudan.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not of the team that this beast is anything more than a giant wolf or some
Right.
insane crossbred thing. But it's not human. Even though people did say like it was a human, it was something shapeshifter or whatever. I don't think so. But it goes to him. He has his 1 bullet. He's literally saying prayers while he's doing this, which I think is so badass. and he shoots it, and he just shoots it dead. Like, this guy got his blessed bullet, the silver bullet, and it kills it. Whereas other guns had not killed it, stabbing it had not killed it. He kills it. And then there's some funny stuff going on where he's like, yes, I did it. He wants to go to Louis and be like, dude, like,
Yeah,
this
pay
is
up.
proof that, because it was like, he had the body, it was huge. Like, I did this and you didn't even send anyone. I want my reward. But apparently, on the way there, the body was so foul smelling that he literally just said, F it, and just tossed it and turned around. Because he was like, I'm done with
It's
this.
like, this is
So
gross.
What?
yeah,
Are you
that's
kidding me?
apparently that's what happened. Yeah.
Ah.
I wonder how far you have to drag that thing.
Yeah. So he became like a folk hero because everyone back home knew Jean Chastel as the guy who saved the town, basically, but he
Right.
never got any reward, and
Wow.
and that was it. That was actually it. There was no more of the beast. But the theories are interesting. Where like it could have been like one theory, which was strange, was that it was like an escaped lion. I was like, I feel like that would have been a little like obvious, but I don't know. Like people were different back then. Maybe they were confused, but it did kind of like. I mean, that idea kind of made sense of like hunting people and like.
I can see being. I mean,
I don't know.
We only knew about lions growing up because we had like children's books with lions.
That's true.
We didn't have
That's
that in
true.
the 1700s.
Yeah, that's a good
true.
point.
You know, they might have
So
just not known what a lion
Probably
was.
didn't have any
Right.
zoos.
But
So
where
there
would
was
they get a
something-
lion
I forget.
from?
It was something like it was traveling, and it was just traveling around.
That's
in
the other
France,
thing
and
is
then
who
it
knows like
escaped.
what kind of
traveling
weird
circus.
diseases animals were getting back then.
Right.
You know? Like it could have caused them to look
Exactly.
like the Beast of Gevaudan.
You guys believe this beast?
Yeah, it's real.
So that's it. It's like, do you think it was anything more than a wolf or like a giant wolf or?
It's this one's very interesting because there was like a body to it. You know, like.
Yeah.
Only
So
the
it's
first.
It's not like the
only,
Chupacabra, where even though I did see it in the like not many people have seen it.
Only the first one
But-
there was a body.
Well,
though,
apparently the first. Yeah, that's
which
the other
had
thing.
no
is-
human remains, so that
second-
wasn't
the
even
second
it.
one
Oh, right,
just-
and
the second one.
the second one did have human remains in it,
But
Ooh.
the
But here's the
guy
other thing.
ditched the body, so
and he ditched the body.
how do we know if he's not?
and
He's
the
not
fir-
just lying.
I don't know. And the first one apparently was like displayed for a while, and then someone was like, "This is a wolf," and then they just took it down because they
They're
were like,
Oh yeah.
Idiots.
"This is a wolf." Yeah, but the second one was the one that was like the scary one.
You don't think maybe it was like a serial killer that like because if all these people died,
No, like people saw people get killed.
that was a wolf.
Yes,
That was a massive
yes.
wolf.
That's so scary.
So it definitely wasn't serial. I don't know.
It wasn't a serial
I don't
killer,
believe
yeah.
it.
You don't believe the beast?
Not really.
but I mean, imagine
I
like
do.
I more don't believe this last guy at the end, Jacques or
Oh, I love that.
John Cousteau, whatever his
Yeah.
name is.
this one's interesting because it's like it's something that's kind of realistic. Like there could be realistically an animal that's
Yeah,
killing kids. You
Yeah.
know, like if there was like a wolf or something. A
yeah,
big wolf.
definitely. I mean, they're like that's what like.
And back then
coyotes
they
do
didn't
and
have
stuff.
like the means
Yeah,
to
they
really.
didn't have Little Red Riding Hood
They
to
couldn't-
Yep,
warn you of
mhm,
that.
True.
They
true.
couldn't post a status about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolf Watch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I-
me,
when
King
you-
Louis.
When you were telling the story
15.
about King Louis, I was imagining Trump's tweet to the sad Beast of Gevaudan.
Yeah, well, at least they got it.
Yeah.
But
There was no human remains. There's another. That's fake news. There's we have them. It's
There we
locked
go.
up.
Yeah.
Tons of remains. Tons of dead flesh.
all right.
So I don't believe that one, to be honest.
You don't believe it. Okay.
I mean,
I believe that there was something. I don't believe the last guy that killed it. Like it's probably just a wolf out there killing
See,
people,
that's-
or a lion.
that's-
I don't believe that it was a mythical beast.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down
I agree.
to.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the most popular thing is that like there are some theories that it was just like a spike in like wolf related deaths because
Right.
like those did happen because they lived on farms like
They probably had some sort of
think about
mad
how
wolf
much-
disease.
Yeah.
yeah,
probably mad
nature
wolf.
was around back then. Like it was just like
Nature was
settlements
around.
in like wilderness, you know. So if people weren't watching, like you could literally get eaten by wolves. So
Tough life. Yikes.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, do you believe it, Chris? What'd you say?
Yeah, I think it was probably some sort of scary beast, but nothing
Yeah.
mythical, mythological, none of that. Just probably some deformed, well-intentioned wolf.
Yeah,
just
I left
hungry.
out the parts where people said that it was like it had red eyes and it stood on 2 feet because not everyone said that, and like that's just got to be a lie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like it's no Kangaroo Jack of itself.
so you
know?
kind of just formed your own story. All right. Well, that's fine. Whatever.
It
all
just-
right.
it
all
just
right.
did. It just did. Let's be real.
I
My
also saw
turn.
it.
I'll keep this. This one will be pretty brief compared to that. What was yours?
All right. The
3.5 hours. My
No,
God.
it was like 20
It's
minutes.
2 a.m.
All right.
5 hours.
Krampus.
There's
The
a movie about
Christmas
Krampus.
Demon.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen it?
Demon.
Have you guys seen
Demon
Krampus the
de
movie?
Christmas. I have not seen it.
No.
I haven't seen it either.
But I've heard it's kind of like a big, like a lot of people like it.
It got 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I think I heard it was
or something.
not terrible.
I feel like it's
Oh,
one of
alright.
those
But it
like,
looked like bad.
people who like Krampus.
I'm gonna have to check this out now that I know a little bit about Krampus. All right. So picture yourselves 2 days before Christmas, tucking yourselves in. Think. Have I been a good boy this year, or a naughty little boy? 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, except for Krampus, the Christmas demon, comes through the house. Andrew's been naughty. He beats him. Chris, extremely naughty. He finishes his beating on Andrew, looks at Chris and goes, "That's a naughty boy." Takes him, puts him in his sack and takes him to his lair.
He takes Chris?
Chris is never seen again.
Wow.
The next day, Santa Claus comes through and he gives Andrew a nice present. Nothing for Chris because he's dead and gone, never coming back.
Holy crap.
That is Krampus.
Hey,
Okay.
did you hear a knock on the door up there?
Oh no.
Have you been
It
in
is-
this year, Alex?
It is December 24th.
We are releasing this 11 months
Krampus
from
is a
now.
he's a half goat, half demon. And he's
Cool.
I like that that's supposed to be like descriptive. Like what's a demon?
That's true. And he is it's like a goat. Basically, I saw pictures of him.
Huh.
It's like a goat, the body of a goat, but he's big and he stands on 2 feet. And a lot of the pictures are red.
He hasn't
Actually,
been
you know what?
He hasn't been sucked at all?
I'll show. He wasn't doing any sucking. I'll show you a picture. This is, God, Chris. If you're naughty, I hope this is not what he does to Chris.
I've been a little naughty.
This will be on the Instagram.
Yeah, we're gonna post pictures of all of our beasts on the Instagram. Oh my god.
Let me see that.
This
thing.
is Krampus.
That's
and-
oh boy.
And so Krampus, let me actually describe who Krampus is.
It looks like one of those classic illustrations of the time though, you know.
Yeah, it does,
Like,
definitely. But this was
insane.
so Krampus initiated it's online. It said between the 11th and 13th century. That's a huge. That's so vague. That's a huge. Imagine if someone was like, "Yeah, I think Alex was born either in 1794 or 1994." Like my life would be completely different.
Huge range.
But like when I hear between the 11th and 13th century, I assume every day was the same. Like there was no innovation
true.
within that
Nothing
time.
changed, yeah.
That is kind of freaky to think back on that.
So he is the companion. Another thing, he's the companion of Saint Nicholas.
Yeah, so he's the
That's so
anti-Santa?
weird to think about because first of all, Saint Nicholas was a real person.
So he's like a foil to Santa?
Yeah. So the idea is Saint Nicholas, Santa,
Yeah.
not Santa yet.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas.
Mhm.
Actually, the way Santa came about, which I learned while researching this, is people called is this guy, this real dude, Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
He was the patron saint of like children, so he gave gifts to children all the time.
Mm.
And
Huge beard.
he doesn't have a huge beard.
Yeah.
And
Red suit.
his saint day, I don't know, what do you call it? Like his
Yeah, like all saints kind of have a day.
yeah, like Valentine's Day kind of is for Saint Valentine. His day was December 6th, which then became Christmas. So people are like, "Oh, Saint Nicholas is coming." Saint Nicholas, and they would go to like the Dutch or whatever, and they'd be like, "Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus."
Wow.
Is that wild?
What?
Yeah, is that so weird?
That's crazy.
So
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus was at one time a real person. Now he's a bit of a mythical creature, you know?
Mhm.
And his companion is Krampus.
They're friends.
Much worse name. I mean, that's Nicholas, pretty normal name.
I wonder if Krampus was probably a normal name that got to Germany and just got all
Maybe.
Krampus.
So it happened. This guy,
Yeah, Krampus does seem like the friend that I just think like Cramp in my style, you know. It's like like
all right.
Like-
well, that's my
like-
theory on
like-
Krampus, but I'll get there.
like Santa, like bring Krampus along for this one. Like,
That's my theory.
Krampus.
I have a second picture to show, but I'm going to wait till the end.
Okay.
So they had originated between the 11th and 13th century in southern Germany and Austria. And basically what Krampus did was he punished the bad children.
Mhm.
So now we see Santa Claus, and his way of punishing the bad children is to leave a little lump of coal in your stocking or maybe under the tree.
Yeah.
And before
Classic
that,
Santa.
that's a very mild version of Krampus because what Krampus did was he would take out this birch whip and he would whip the children
Oh,
that
man.
were naughty.
Dude.
He would beat them and give them nightmares.
I really want to see this movie now. I'm
Is this
wondering
funny
how
to
they're-
you?
I'm
should
wondering
watch
how
it.
they're going
We
to
should watch
portray
it,
this.
yeah.
Like, this is just insane.
And the very naughty kids, he would take in and put them in their bag, like Chris earlier, and he would bring them
So
to
it's like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing, really.
right. But they would bring him to his lair, which is hell.
Oh,
So all of a sudden,
God.
Saint Nicholas is this real guy who's giving gifts to these nice children, and then also the devil comes. Like that's a huge jump, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's what they're telling kids in Germany and Austria.
Wow.
And Krampus was around before Saint Nick had his Saint's Day. So Krampus was around, and people were saying, if you're bad, you're getting whipped, you're getting nightmares, and you're going to hell.
Yeah, that's way
And
worse.
then
than
they
lump
were
of coal.
like, Saint Nick was like, this was years after Saint Nick was around, but they were like, we should have a patron day of Saint Nick, call it Christmas. And they're like, can we bundle up Krampus with that one? So they just threw Krampus the day before. We have this night called Krampus Knot, which just means Krampus night, which is the day before Christmas.
It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was December 5th because Saint Nick's Day
Yeah.
was December 6th. Now I guess it's Christmas Eve. I don't know when it's celebrated now, but it is still celebrated.
Ooh.
And it's this night where all the kids have to be well behaved because the parents go around telling their kids they're going to get whipped with a birch whip.
I love it.
For
That's great.
God's sakes.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like, I guess I said like that it's way worse than a lump of coal, but what I meant by that is like, as a threat, it's like insane. You
Like
know, it's
Krampus
like,
to
you're
tell
going to
you.
get a lump of coal, or like,
Right.
how about Krampus comes and whips you and like, takes you to
and
hell?
gives you nightmares and takes you to hell.
Imagine
Oh my
finding
God.
like when you find out Santa isn't real. Imagine finding out Krampus isn't real.
Is
What a
real?
what a relief.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd
God.
be somebody
Yeah.
like Santa's not real. Oh, so Krampus not so. No, Krampus is very
I mean, it's
real.
like, oh, what about it's like Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, like no, Krampus, like Krampus is real. Like, oh no,
It's just you just like the camera pans to this guy covered in whip marks. Believe me, he's a real.
yeah, it's like at a bar or something. Like, it's like the little extra, like
Just like a dark look in his eyes. But that leads to my future theory. I'll get to it. But first, I was reading up on like the history of it or whatever, and there's this quote. So I have, you know how I said it was a birch whip. This guy in 1958, so pretty modern.
yeah,
He's discussing the origin of his appearance and why he has a whip and whatnot. And he says, the birch, apart from its phallic significance, may have a connection with the initiation rites of certain witch covens. Phallic? No one brought up the fact that it was a phallic. You know? That's gross.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
that's on him.
Especially
That's
when
on
it's talking
that guy.
about beating little kids. This is that's a wiener. That's what phallic means.
It's a wiener, yeah.
That's a creep. Why did he say that? And it was on the Wikipedia. I almost went and deleted it. But all right, now let's zoom out.
okay,
This had to originate somehow, this myth, right?
yeah,
Let's say modern day. Someone was like, oh yeah, by the way, there's this dude going around whipping bad kids and giving them nightmares and taking them away. People would have that man arrested or find him. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
What, in the 11th through 13th century, they were just like, that's Krampus from down the street. Like, that's just the
Small
local.
boy Krampus.
That's the local Krampus.
Huh.
Well, I think it was the local creep.
oh my
Because
god,
there's another picture of Krampus. And like you said,
It's just a picture of an actual creep.
like
That's
it
an interesting
is.
theory.
Like
That's an
you
interesting
said,
theory.
you think it's Santa Claus's weird friend. I think that's exactly who it is. We have a picture. I'll zoom in so you can just see Saint Nick. We have a picture of Saint Nick here. This will be on the Instagram for everyone. That's Saint Nick. Look at the long beard and whatnot.
okay, yeah.
And he's
Look a little thin.
shoot. And he's greeting these kids. That kid looks scary because there's another character in the scene.
Let's pan out.
That's Krampus. That's a dude. That's a human being.
Let me see.
But it looks vaguely similar to the beast we saw.
Oh, it looks like he's just like screaming
it's
at
like
him.
hunchback.
That's just an old man. That's not half demon or goat.
Yeah,
I think there was this local old man
you're right.
going around,
Yeah,
and he was whipping kids, taking them away, and calling himself Krampus.
Ugh.
That's not
Spooky.
cool.
That's like so depressing.
And then Saint Nick had to go in and clean up the scene and be like, here's some gifts. Here, just don't tell anyone. Tell them it was Krampus. Tell them it was Krampus. So I'm on the side now that I don't think it was even a mythical beast. I think this is a real human, Krampus. Upset that he wasn't sainted, maybe. And
Wait, why-
he's beating kids.
Why was it? Where did Krampus originate from, though?
The name?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't find the name. I think it's a German word,
Okay.
but Krampus not. It's Krampus night.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that
Makes
originates
sense.
That
from.
does make sense. Yes.
What are your guys' thoughts? Believe it?
I think
Don't
it's.
believe it?
I like the idea
Oh,
of it.
also it is celebrated to this day. There's
Yeah.
a Krampus LA. It's like major cities in the United States have like their Krampus not,
Oh.
and they celebrate Krampus.
I like the idea of an anti-Santa. That's just so funny, and it's.
That is
I'm
really
surprised it hasn't come up more in like, just like pop culture,
In,
like
like,
in
Christmas
like
movies or
the
something?
Santa Claus featuring Tim Allen. What if
Yeah.
that had a dang Krampus?
Yeah,
they
that's
should.
that's a perfect villain. Really.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they did Jack Frost, who
It
I always thought he was a good guy, and then all of a sudden he's a bad guy in Santa Claus.
True.
Santa Claus 3, I believe.
could have been interesting,
should've
but I
done
guess
Krampus.
I have to see the movie. But I don't know. It doesn't like. I feel like this one could be real.
I mean, Saint Nick was real.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait, could be real in what Alex is saying, or what,
In
like
this-
the mythical saying?
In the not like I don't think Santa's real. I don't think Krampus is real. But I think going
Alright.
back, there could have been some sort of
So what
old
Alex is
creepy
saying.
dude.
someone whipping kids.
That picture is convincing. That's a
Yeah. 'Cause
convincing
that guy looks
picture.
It is
Scary.
convincing. The first picture where is
Yeah.
Just
Which
like-
will.
Oh,
That's
also
what's
another thing
scary.
is they people still send Krampus cards. So on Krampus they'll send cards of Krampus. So it's like a joking thing to do in Germany and in Austria, where it's like, oh, you guys better behave, and they'll send it to their friends. And multiple websites are like, yeah, there's some pictures with like busty women with Krampus. It's like, why are you telling me that? I don't care. What is Krampus like getting it on with these women? I don't care about that. I'm trying to get in the Christmas spirit. First of all, don't ever send that to my house where my children can see it, for God's sakes.
Yeah, it's just like that classic thing. Like, and also, if you're interested, Krampus is with busty women.
Yeah, like,
no, I'm not interested.
There's a
in
YouTube
that.
video I watched, and they showed the picture of him and this woman in like a
Was she
like
busty?
like lingerie or
Wait,
not
but
lingerie,
it's like a
teddy.
drawing, right?
It's a drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God it's a drawing.
It's the real Krampus.
Yeah, that makes me not want to see this movie. It's gonna turn into a love story with Krampus. Yeah, what do you think?
I think, I like what you guys are both saying. I think it's unlikely that it could be a mythical thing, just because we all know his buddy Mr. Claus is not, unfortunately, real.
Yeah.
So it's probably just similar to that. The idea, I just can't get over the fact that was what they used as, like, instead of the coal. Like, man,
Yeah,
like,
right?
people
Isn't
say
that
that, oh,
insane?
we're so PC nowadays, but like, I'd rather be talking about coal than like telling my kid that he's gonna get whipped
That's true.
and dragged
Right?
to hell. Like, Jesus.
Maybe I'll try that one out if I ever have kids. Just,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
watch
listen
out.
to my podcast.
Krampus has a phallic whip he's gonna hit you with.
I swear it's phallic.
Yeah, geez, that is just terrible. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I like your theory a lot, Alex, actually, about, because like in that picture with like Saint Nick, like that's actually Saint Nicholas, right? He was a real person confirmed. So like he could have
And
just
he went around giving gifts to kids.
right, and he could have just had a friend, and that could have captured this scary picture of this boy getting scared because Krampus is yelling at
I
him.
mean, that's a scary looking man.
Yeah,
Check the
that's a
Instagram,
spooky
everyone.
dude.
I mean, think about it now. If there was a dude, God forbid this ever happens, but if there's this massive creep that goes around, like, terrorizing kids, and it was just like a local thing, that would spread as like an urban legend, maybe, and eventually turn out to be a Krampus type legend.
Mhm.
I think maybe that's what happened.
That's exactly it. Because
And-
nowadays, like, that would get found out as like a creep.
Right.
But back then it's
It seemed like an urban legend,
Right.
and especially it wasn't really tied with Christmas until they decided to bundle them together.
Wait, who's they?
I don't know. Whoever. Another thing they said was like there was one part in the Wikipedia where they're like, yeah, Krampus was like a national holiday in Germany until the election of blah 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 blah, where they voted against it. Like, why are you even voting on this? Is that like a major issue that if that was on the poll? If we just had a recent election day.
Yeah.
If that was one of the things to vote on, was like,
By the way,
should we celebrate? You guys think we should celebrate Krampus? Not. I would leave the United States.
That's funny. That was them
Yeah.
being PC, I guess.
So
right?
some government body decided to do all this.
yeah,
That's
I like
funny.
the idea of just getting like overwhelmingly no, and they're like, yeah, I thought so too. But really, they're like,
it was pretty messed up.
yeah, like
The same guy that's covered with whips. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just wondering.
oh god. All right,
Cool.
that's interesting, Alex. Yeah, all right. What do we think for the three? What do you think is the most likely as a mythical creature?
Ooh.
Because Krampus is probably real. The Beast is real. Sorry, Alex.
Chupacabra
is
real.
fake.
No. Chupacabra. Something was real.
Something is real. Something is
Chupacabra.
real. Right.
So, I think the most likely mythical. I think the Beast and Krampus have like very obvious. Like the Beast was probably just a big wolf.
Explanations.
Krampus was either a nighttime like a story scare kids or just a creep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
El
the Chupacabra is
Chupacabra
probably the hardest to explain.
It's the hardest
Right.
to explain because it's either Satan group sucking sheep,
That's
which
true.
is hard to do,
That's
Yeah.
true.
or
I've tried.
it's a mythical creature.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
that's what I'd vote on.
No, that's a
great.
good point. I mean, yeah, like what we even in that article, that was the proof that dogs can't suck.
Yep.
They don't have cheeks.
Almost every mythical creature breaks down to that. It's like Krampus, you think you might be real, but dogs can't
Dogs
suck.
can't suck.
Crazy.
Good to know.
So yeah, email in your thoughts. I'm sure people have
Oh,
mythical stories. I feel
Can we rate it or no?
we
let's
should
rate-
rate
let's
it.
rate
Yeah. But I was just gonna say like, if people have their own local mythical stories,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes there's like an urban legend or something in your town.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Let
that.
us know about it. I'd
Is
love to
there
hear
a
it.
Beast of Minnesota?
Yeah, I wonder.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say to rate it. Can I go first? I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, sure.
I actually really enjoyed this. If you couldn't tell, I really liked my story. I
Mhm.
liked I don't know. Like I was on Wikipedia and there was like just clicked up like okay, like I think it was called legendary creatures maybe. And instead of like giving me the list of all of them, it was like legendary creatures that start with the letter A.
Oh, I saw that same
Huge
page.
Yeah,
long
I was
list,
on there
like,
too.
wow, this is pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously, like I feel like you got to take it as fiction for the most part, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. Sometimes I get kind of fascinated with the past. Like I've never been more interested in like history than I was like today. Honestly, like I was really interested in like what was going on in this time, how historians like broke this down to find out everything. So I honestly really loved it. I feel like I could get, and I loved hearing your guys' stories too. Like I feel like I could get involved, like not conspiracy theory style, hopefully, but I'd be down to like research more mythical creatures and kind of like, I don't know, see if something could be real. I don't know. I mean, obviously I like Bigfoot from the get-go, so
Yeah. Episode 5.
I'm in
We
this,
talked
but
about.
I like this a lot. I would say this is probably my favorite researchy one. So I'm gonna give it. This is much, but I'll give it an 8.5, but nay for now.
Whoa.
Because I don't want to seem like a creep, but I really did
But
enjoy it.
I don't want to seem like a creep, but I am.
I'm no Krampus, guys.
No Krampus, no Beast.
All right, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. I had fun researching it. I've in the past watched a few like documentaries about mythical creatures. One that I remember well was like I forget what it was called exactly. It was about mermaids. I guess if you call
that's
it,
a
if you call that a
mythical
mythical
beast,
creature. And the whole like trailer for it was like, no guys, we found it. We found a mermaid. They didn't really find it, but it was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I had fun learning about that. I had fun learning about the Chupacabra. Really didn't know much about it until I saw it in person.
Yeah.
And and I read about it.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's definitely real.
Yeah, I like how we did like this random beast, Krampus, and Chupacabra when there's clearly like totally forgot about mermaids,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
Nessie.
all this,
Loch Ness
the Loch Ness
Monster.
monster. Like now we really took
Unicorns,
it,
I
took
guess.
it to another level. Unicorns.
Same kind of thing as Andrew said. Like, I have fun learning about them. They're interesting. I'm not going to seek them out. If there's a big like documentary coming out about it, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
I'll go a little lower than Andrew. I'll say a 6.5.
Ooh.
Nay for now.
There for now.
By the way, we should all watch Krampus sometime.
Yeah, we should.
we'll
All
do an
right, I'll
episode.
rate.
Yeah.
First of all, I disagree in the documentary part. I don't think I would be interested in a documentary about any
Gotta
of
watch
these.
that movie.
See, the problem with the documentaries is like, it's just what Chris said. It's like it's not like they're just like yeah, and it wasn't real. You know?
That's why I think
Yeah.
I'm
I think the best thing about these documentaries is the eyewitnesses. Like, and there it was.
yeah, see,
10 feet tall.
unless if it was like a mockumentary, so it was like clearly fake.
Yeah.
I would watch it. But like you know, like Shark Week does that thing on like the Megalodon or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
was trying to
it's
think
still
of that.
around. It's like this is fake. Like, this is not interesting to me. So I think if there was a documentary and they were trying to say that it was real, I would be like, all right, this is garbage. I'm not watching this, which makes me think I should rate it lower. But we'll see. Another interesting thing was as I was doing research, I looked up mythological creatures that turned out to be true because I figured, oh, maybe there's a real one out there that I could blow your guys' mind about. And the manatee was a mythological creature at one point.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
That
And there are a
is
few
cool.
others.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like things that we know of now. It's like obviously just animals.
but manatee's kind of like a whoa, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's like-
It'd be funny.
It was a cow. I swear it was a cow, but it was swimming.
It'd be funny if you did a manatee but called it something else and then
Yeah.
revealed it that it was a manatee.
But that's what it would be like. So I like to stay hopeful and be like, maybe one day there'll be a creature that is undiscovered, and we'll find it, which is possible.
Yeah.
Like they say, like 98% of the ocean is still like
That's so scary.
unventured. You know, which is terrifying. Obviously,
Yeah.
There's probably a monster living down there that will consume us all. That's all right. But it makes me stay hopeful that maybe we'll be that hunter that killed the beast one day.
Yeah.
You know, I'll step up. It'll be I. Please bless these bullets, priest, and then I'll kill it.
Nice.
But I don't love myths. 4 nay.
Oh, wow. That's low.
Too boring. I don't know. It's not-
I really liked it.
yeah, I don't know.
Very,
I'm not
very
into
different
fiction.
opinions. On
See,
this
I'd say, but here's another thing: is that you like listening to like true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
I prefer like the myth ones because even if it's like scary, like I can kind of be like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
It's just a story.
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like even listening to yours, I was like, oh, maybe at the end it'll be a serial killer. Like, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be real. Whereas if it, like in my mind, I think it wasn't real. When it turns out not to be real, I'm like, oh, okay. I want to live a nightmare, you know? I want to live a scary life.
Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition. I like it.
All right, yeah, 4, nay.
All right.
Period.
Okay.
Chris, you want to hit us with those plugs?
Oh,
Yeah,
real
that's
quick. I want to mention one thing. I listened to another podcast, and they're like to get
Research.
some background info. Not Laura, a different one. I won't shout him out because I'm hating on him here. But their plugs were nothing compared to this guy.
There we go,
to my
baby.
left. Seriously, you know, every
Really?
time. Oh yeah.
Wow.
What were their plugs?
Just like, you know.
Just look it up. And
Yeah, it was just rude.
Wow.
No, but seriously, you know.
Put
All
me
right,
on- put
Chris,
me on the
yeah.
They didn't
spot.
say
Good luck
they
here.
never said one-stop shop for all things I need.
I was going to say that this time.
They never
Chris,
said
says
that. But all right, go ahead, Chris.
Now I'm nervous.
Chris,
Well,
no pressure.
if you liked what you're listening to today and you want to hear about more hobbies, challenges, and activities, then you can go to ineedahobbypod.com. I won't say it this time. But you can find all of our episodes, our Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, I Need a Hobby Pod. What else we got on there? You could shop us on Amazon.
Amazon.
ineedahobbypod.com/Amazon for all your shopping needs. A cut of that
T-shirts.
money goes to us. You can buy T-shirts on Amazon or on our website. You can buy our T-shirt. One or the other. You need a T-shirt?
You could buy just like a pack of Hanes on
Just like a
Amazon.
nice champion shirt.
All right, I love that.
And yeah, keep writing in. ineedhobbypod@gmail.com. Our laptop is falling
Oh,
off the
got it.
table right now.
Got it. We got
Whoa,
it.
whoa, 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 whoa. See you next week.